Hi, welcome back to another episode of Unique Moments where I talk about things from my unique perspective. So we are back. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the love languages, but specifically the neurodivergent love languages. So we're all familiar with the 5 love languages, right? Acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, and then gift giving. But I was doing some research and I was looking up I came across the neurodivergent love languages. And honestly, I'm convinced that pretty much everybody in my life is neurodivergent. So, which just means you're not neurotypical. So if you have autism, dyslexia, ADD, ADHD, or anything that, your brain is it's just neurospicy and it's not neurotypical. So neurodivergent people, they think differently. Obviously, your brain is wired differently. And so they have different love languages. And honestly, I feel like I kind of resonate with these more. So I just wanted to discuss that. But first, before we get into the love languages, I'm going to pull a card for the episode. Ooh. Okay, the card we got was Desert, and I'm using the Empathic Oracle, so let's see what she says. Desert. So often on the journey forward, you see only muted shades of gray, and this begins to become your emotional mood. Steps forward seem pointless because the purpose seems to have lost its destination into vibrant color. You must not forget your sensitive energy allows you to search out even the tiniest ray of vibrancy of color in every journey. The colors are always there. You must simply believe and feel. I like that. So it's kind of just saying if things look a little gray right now, if things look a little dim, grim, there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on in the world right now. There might be a lot going on in your life right now. So, if you're feeling deserted or if it is giving a barren land, there's always something. There's always some color. There's always something that you could be grateful for, that you could see, even if it's beyond the distance. It might be dry, okay? The desert might be dry, but the well is not empty. Okay, hold on. The desert might be dry, but the well is not empty. You might have to find your way to the well. You might have to walk. You may have to trek a few miles, but the well is there and the well is not empty because the well never runs dry, even if the desert is. That was a word, and maybe for me. But okay, so the neurodivergent love languages. So the first one we have is parallel play. And I absolutely love this one. So parallel play is basically when two people, and this could be romantic. I think it specifically is romantic, but it could be platonic anyway. But the love languages are usually in romantic partnerships. But either way, take it how it resonates. So it's parallel play is like doing things alongside one another, but you don't necessarily have to be together. So like you could be watching TV while someone else is reading a book, or maybe you guys are in the same room, but you're not talking to each other, but you're still like in each other's space. Or maybe you're doing something parallel to each other, but not necessarily engaging, but just enjoying each other's company. And I absolutely love that. Like, those are my kind of people. Because I'm a person, I appreciate silence, okay? Like, I appreciate people who know how to just be and sit and enjoy a quiet moment, enjoy a long period of silence without needing to fill it with words or space. And I love that the parallel play doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to talk. Obviously, you can talk, but it's just something about appreciating being in someone's presence, being in someone's company, and you don't necessarily have to be hanging out, like doing something together, actively doing something. This could be even just sitting with someone and y'all are scrolling. Like, there's no communication happening. There's no real, connection, but it's like we're just enjoying each other's company on our own phones, doing our own thing. A love language, a true love language. Okay, the next one we have penguin pebbling. I hate this name, but it's really kind of cute. So apparently penguins, what they do to show each other affection and that they care is they give each other pebbles, like they give them little gifts. And so penguin pebbling, as it applies to the neurodivergent love language, it's like when you give somebody something. So obviously it can be something physical. Hey, I made this for you. Hey, I got this for you, but it can also be like sharing a meme or an article or a podcast. I know I'll do this. I'll like save podcasts that I think people who don't even listen to podcasts, but I'll save podcasts that I think my friend might like, or there's something interesting in it that made me think of them or something like that. Or I'm sending you an Instagram reel or a TikTok or an article that I think they might like or that reminds me of them. So that's like penguin pebbling. And that's also really cute too. And I think that is honestly one of my top love languages, because I will just send reels all day. Like literally all day. There's no communication happening in the chat. We're in the chat. We're alive and well, but there's no communication happening. Like it's literally just give, receive, give, receive, give, receive, receive, give, which, hear me out, is a love language, and I appreciate it. I really, really do. And then, okay, so the next one we have is info dumping. And this is for basically kind of like all the little nerds. So all neurodivergent people aren't nerds, but I think this is specifically speaking to people who may be autistic or have Asperger's. They get really involved in certain specific interests, like certain passions. Even myself, I consider myself neurodivergent. I'm pretty sure I have ADD, undiagnosed, but you know how that goes. But even I get very deep and very passionate about metaphysics and about knowledge, about words. I love etymology. I love looking up what words mean and the origin, and looking up different spiritual philosophies. Also big on philosophy and just creation and like how things came into being. And I'm not a yapper. But if you ask me about a metaphysical principle, boy, oh boy, will I yap your ear off. And that's what info dumping is. It's like when their love language is when they're able to share the information and the facts that they have about a topic that they love, and they're sharing it because they also love you. So if someone who's neurodivergent just starts talking to you about anthropology and how ancient civilizations were moving from here to here, from there to there, and procreating and doing whatever since the beginning of time, they love you. Just know that you are high on their favorable people list, because it's like a comfortability, and I can definitely relate to that. This is me in shows for sure. Like if I like you, like if I really like you, I'm telling you about my favorite series, and I'm leaving no detail unturned, like at all. Unless you say you're going to watch the show, I'm not going to spoil it, but that would be my version of info dumping. Or I just learned something about a topic that I'm really passionate about. Yeah, I'm going to share it with you. Did you ask? No. Do I love you enough to share it anyway? Yes. A love language. Some people might think that's annoying, though. I can definitely see that, especially if you don't care. But I think at the end of the day, who doesn't want to see their person happy, you know? If you are getting the most joy explaining to me about the different types of species of frogs, like, I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to let you have it. Yes, tell me about them. I hate frogs. Frogs disgust me, but you tell me about them. You tell me about them, because this is bringing me so much joy. That is bringing you so much joy. And I just think that's a very inclusive love language. And it's like, aw. Like it's focused on the other person, but they're doing it because they love you. Very sweet. Then next we have support swapping. This I feel like is honestly kind of just like acts of service, but basically the premise of the support swapping is that neurodivergent people need support. in handling, we all do, come on, need support in handling different aspects of their life. And so they lean on or depend on friends and family to give them support in certain areas, whether it's them getting help cleaning or paying bills or cooking, or someone taking care of saying, oh yeah, I'll make this phone call for you, or yeah, I'll answer those emails for you. Just support. Like, how can they be supported? Not necessarily acts of service, but how can I support you? What do you need in this moment? What can I do to lighten your load? What can I do to help you out, to take care of it? Like, sometimes neurodivergent people, we may be so stuck on, I have this thing due tomorrow. Everything that I do today is going toward this presentation that I have to do tomorrow. I'm not thinking about washing my clothes. I'm not thinking about doing the dishes. I'm not thinking about cooking a meal. And so someone coming in to give you that support, that would be an example of that love language. And the last one, deep pressure. So the biggest example of this is giving someone a tight hug. And so it's something about the pressure of the hug and calming the nervous system down, or calming the system down, especially when you can get overwhelmed or fragmented or feeling like, super anxious. That weight, that pressure, it's a love language, because it's like, it calms me down. My body feels safe now. I feel held. And that can also come in the form of weighted blankets or just anything that provides pressure. And so those are the neurodivergent love languages. And I think it's important to know, because while the love languages are important, like when people ask you, what's your love language? What's your love language? I think, yes, that is key. Keep doing that. But at the end of the day, if we're in partnership with people, if we are, trying to express love to this other individual, yes, it is going to matter what my love language is, because that's going to matter to you. But also, I think what matters and what we don't spend enough time on is how we like to show love. Because usually when people are asking, what's your love language? What's your love language? That's how we like to receive love. Like, for instance, mine would be, in this scenario, the parallel play. Like, that says love to me. If we can sit in the same room and we don't have to do the same thing, or we don't even have to talk to each other, but I know you're there, love. That's a connection. I love that. That is how I like to receive love. But how I like to give love would definitely be more of the penguin pebbling, info dumping. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to send this to you. Hey, I thought of you. Hey, I thought of this. This makes me think of you. And so I think when we really tap into, how do I like to give love? How do I like to show love? Then that could put us in a better position to match with people who like to receive that type of love. Because if I know what I like to receive is parallel play, I'm gonna find someone who likes to give that. Like, that's how that works. And I think too often we're just asking to ask, even if we're going back to the original 5 love languages, we're just asking to ask, oh, my love language is physical touch and quality time. Okay, so what I'm hearing is, how you like to be loved is by me showing you physical touch and giving you quality time. But what if that's not my strong suit? And that's not to say that it can't be worked on, but naturally, the way I like to give love is words of affirmation. That comes so easily to me. The compliments, the I love yous, I'm giving you encouragement, I'm hyping you up, I'm your number one fan, I'm writing you letters. That comes so naturally to me. So that is how I like to give love. That is how I say I love you. But if you like physical touch and quality time, my words of affirmation aren't going to do anything for you. And I'm not saying that we should date people based on their love languages, and if they don't match, then you're out. That's not the case. But I think a lot of the times, especially in relationships, when people are like, oh, the spark died, the love died, or the honeymoon phase is over, or we just grew apart, or it got boring and got into a routine, it's like, you weren't honoring each other's love languages. And I think too often both parties are upset, because it's like, well, I like this and you don't do that. Well, I like this and you don't do that. Well, it's like, hello, I'm not going to do that. And you can You can change for people. Going back to the example, I can learn how to have quality time. I can learn how to be more physically intimate if that's your thing. But what am I going to do with all this love that I like to give in the form of words of affirmation? Like, if that doesn't work for you, maybe fundamentally on a level, we're not compatible. Like, maybe I need to be with someone who can receive my words of affirmation that I like to give while also putting in the effort. Because if we're being so for real, all of the love languages are it, right? Everybody wants someone to be about their action and show me and give me acts of service. Everybody wants physical touch, the hand holding, the kissing, the cuddling. Well, not everybody, but you know. And then the gifts. Who doesn't love a good gift? And the quality time and words of affirmation. All of those things are necessary. All of those things create and foster a healthy relationship. But you have to know who you're dealing with, because some people could give a flying pancake about a gift. Like, they don't care about that. They want you to spend time with them. You see it all the time in the movies. The husband or the partner, they're just sending gifts. They're sending flowers. They're sending jewelry. They're sending chocolates. They're sending bags. But they just want you to be home. When they get home, when you get home from work, they want to spend time with you. They want to hold you. They want to kiss you. They want to hold you. Like, all of them work, but you have to know who you're dealing with. Some people could care less about a quality time. If I'm speaking to you on the phone, if I'm FaceTiming you, if I have a connection with you, if we're hanging out once a week, I don't need to constantly be in your space. It's you know, everybody has different things. And so I think it's just nice to know how people like to give love and how people like to receive love. And in an ideal, perfect world, those two things would be the same, but it's not. So I encourage you, next time you are asking someone what their love language is, or even maybe you're going back to refigure out, hey, what is my love language? How do I like to receive love? Also challenge yourself and ask, how do I like to give love? What feels most natural to me? So then that way you're matching with people and being compatible with people who can like receive what you're giving. Because it's not just about giving, it's about receiving as well. We can give all day long. I can give you gifts all day long, but like, you're not going to receive that if that's not how you like to receive love. And, you know, it can work in so many other ways. So yeah, that's all I got for the love languages. Until next time.